Hey, welcome back to That Stupid Podcast. Rev here. We got a great episode this week. We're calling it dickpix. Ashton talks about his fandom for Star Wars. We have a little emotion over Troy's leaving Community. It's very, very sad. We also talked about a whole lot of other stuff, from Snapchat hacks to Microsoft's record-breaking fourth quarter. Stick around. All that and more coming up. So it's that thing we do every week.
Oh, you mean our only segment?
Our only segment.
We've got a new segment this week, though.
Oh,
but we'll talk about it later.
Spoilers.
This is...
Let me snope something for you.
Boom.
So Ashton, I don't know if you've seen the internet this week. And I keep calling you Ashton. I gotta stop doing that.
Ashton, RJ, asshole, whatever. It's all the same thing.
It's all good, dick. So on the internet this week, I saw an awful lot of people bitching about the European Union. For those of you in America don't know what the European Union is, it's a bunch of countries over there on the other side of the ocean. And apparently, they're going to start requiring newborn babies by middle of this year to have RFID chips implanted in their born. No, it was on the internet.
So it must be true.
Absolutely.
Well, can you give me the full story behind this? Maybe a little dash of truth.
So there is a dash of truth, and the dash of truth is that, and honestly, invariably, sometime in the future, there may be a requirement, maybe, for some sort of a national ID tagging type system that will be combined with DNA and everything else to track for purposes of everything from when people are lost, or to kidnappings, to murders, to whatever. So there was a report at one point that came out that said, this is something that we might want to look into down the road eventually,
in the future,
and they want to start having conversations about it, maybe.
And now everybody's required.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's how the news passes down the chain of command.
It went from maybe to it's going to happen this year.
And if you don't do it, we're going to kill your child.
Yeah, pretty much. So Snopes. Seriously, it's just one of these things, and it's not a big story, but it's been kind of annoying me because I've seen a few memes, and I think before the meme generators get a little too crazy, I would just love to put just to nip that right in the bud. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a thing. I've heard the same story about the U.S. Everybody's complaining.
Right.
They said basically if you were going to have any sort of insurance.
Yep.
At all.
Yep.
You had to have an RFID chip put in for tracking, regulatory stuff,
yep.
Identification that you could find.
Yep.
Let's say, so we don't use dental records or anything like that. And that you, as a citizen, to continue to be a citizen of the U.S.,
right,
you had to get this done.
Yep.
There's
zero truth to that.
Yeah, we live in America. Freedom.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell they're going to ever get to a point where they're like, look, you better get this chip now.
Right.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, question.
Would you get the chip?
I've thought about chips in general in my person, and I'm okay with it.
I'm completely okay with it. If there was a cell phone...
In fact, the chip I want specifically, I want... have you seen the show Intelligence yet on NBC?
I have.
I want to be that guy.
If you were to tell me right now that I could have a cell phone placed in my brain
head?
so I could see everything in front of me like that, oh, yeah, I'd do that. And everybody's like,
totally.
What about the government tracking you? Yeah, because the government doesn't track us at all, ever, through anything like cell phones, cars, computers. I could really keep a big list. Now,
absolutely,
I have a Snopes this week. The guy who never does his research,
he stole my heart
at all, and pretty much just makes everything up on the fly. Like, if you could see our Excel sheets for this show, I'm a very last minute person.
Yeah.
I go in on Friday, I tack out my articles. And that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Steven goes in on like Monday, Tuesday, and he's got these nicely written things. But this week, I got my Snopes on. So,
lay it on me.
As a dieter, I eat a lot of Splenda.
Yeah, I used to.
And it's the thing is, it just tastes good, and it doesn't have calories.
I had to stop eating it, though.
What's that?
Well, apparently it's going to kill me.
It will actually kill you. Unfortunately, Splenda was never tested. We have no regulations for food. And it will actually give you sugar cancer or something. None of these things are true at all.
But I'm pretty sure that I read on Facebook just yesterday that I was going to die.
Yeah, you're going to die. Because, if you read it on Facebook, It must be true.
It must be true.
With the thing about that, Splenda has gone through all of the FDA processes, the reviews,
Sure it has. Yeah.
everything.
Now, I do have a few arguments against Splenda, though, that aren't going to kill you. But since we're talking about dieting a little bit, I mean, you used to be a fat kid. I'm still a fat kid in training, coming down. I've lost a couple 100 pounds so far, and I used to, and it wasn't just Splenda, but there's some Splenda knockoffs. They're all sugar alcohols, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's and I don't remember the knockoff names, so we'll just call them Splenda for short. But
Splenda is made of sucralose,
right?
Which is it's derived from sugar.
Right.
Kind of.
Right. It's a negative sugar is the way I call it.
Yeah,
so
they do molecule replacement to make it.
And here's what my problem that I found with Splenda early on, and all the sugar alcohols actually in general, they don't promote as much weight loss as one would hope.
They don't. You do have to actually still do stuff.
Right.
Your body still processes it like it would sugar.
So you have to be careful.
It can make you fat.
Not that it's going to kill you, but
it can still make you fat.
And it's still better than NutraSweet as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. Aspartame is the devil.
It really is the devil.
And they'll tell you there's been plenty of studies done on aspartame, and it's not that bad for you.
It's horrible.
Aspartame is pretty much equivalent to MSG as far as sugar goes, and it being bad for you.
Absolutely. Well, and not just that, but and it's finally after years and years and years, and I don't know why we were having this discussion, but it just popped in my head. You're finally seeing studies that aspartame is linked to weight gain.
Yep.
Right.
It will actually, because you replace things with it, so you think it's fine since you've cut those small calories. There's not that many calories in sugar.
And I always think of going to McDonald's, ordering the big fat ass meal,
but I want a
Diet
Diet Coke.
with a Diet Coke.
And I do that to this day. Like I don't eat a lot of McDonald's at all, or a lot of fast food, period.
Right.
But when I do eat McDonald's, damn it, I'm getting a Big Mac, super size, 2 apple pies. But you better give me a Diet Coke, because I'll cut you.
Damn straight.
But I mean, I'm glad that we can talk about these things. And just remember, folks, not everything you read on the internet, but it's not true.
But oh,
I know. It'll be all right. It'll be okay. So that's this week on.
Let me snopes that for you.
That's right.
So, Ashton, the whole Splenda thing actually kind of made me want to talk about something else a little bit.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
So, for those of you out there in internet land that don't know, this isn't the first thing that I've done on the internet. I've been doing crap on the internet for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah. So, recently, and I mean within the last year or so, I started a blog. Mm-hmm. Findinglean.com is the website name.
It's your self-motivation blog about your journey.
So I want to talk about my journey a little bit.
All right.
For the past about 18 months, I've been losing weight. A year and a half ago, I weighed 555 pounds.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean
that is like a lot.
It's a lot.
Just imagine how much that would be of a person.
Yeah. And I've lost, as of this morning, 248 pounds.
Boom.
So, now I didn't do it all by exercise, I'll admit. I had gastric bypass surgery, ruined my gastric bypass surgery on April Fool's Day of 2013. But I started my journey back in October 2012. I needed to lose 50 pounds just to have the surgery because I was literally so big that I couldn't have surgery.
Because it would be a life risk
well,
at that point.
Partly that, but also it's arthroscopic. And I was literally too thick in the middle.
For those little...
You can't pivot. So I had to lose about 50 pounds. So I went on the Atkins diet, which I had done in the past. And while it's not something that I was going to ever be able to do for my entire life, I knew it would work pretty quickly. And I worked with a dietitian and a doctor.
Yeah. So you weren't just going willy-nilly.
Right. No, I went to Vanderbilt University Medical Center and their weight loss, their surgical and their medical weight loss departments, and worked with them. I picked the Atkins diet, and I started it because between the time I found out I was going to have to lose weight and my first medical weight loss appointment with Dr. Kleek was about 3 or 4 weeks. I thought, well, I'm going to get a head start. Because I finally got motivated to get this done. My friend Scott had the gastric sleeve surgery, which is a little bit different than what I had. You guys can look all these up if you want. Or go to my website. I explained in one of my early...
You should probably check his blog
I explained one of my early entries.
Probably going to be right there.
Yeah.
So throwing it
down here. But yeah. So, and he had it in August the year prior, and he's now down to He wasn't ever as big as me.
Yeah.
He was almost 400 pounds though, so he was still pretty big.
Still pretty big.
He's down about 220. He's wearing a 36. I mean, he looks pretty incredible. I'm down to a loose 46.
But I mean, considering where you came from.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 18 months ago, I couldn't walk 100 feet, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, I literally
couldn't.
Right. So I was a shut-in. Not by choice, but because of my health. I just couldn't get out. I couldn't associate with people. So this was one of these situations, and actually just recently, a very good friend of mine I went to high school with, his dad died like this morning.
Wow.
He had weight loss surgery a couple of years ago, and it was just too late in life for him, and it didn't
help his problem.
Right. So I'm lucky enough, I hope, that I've turned it around.
Yeah.
So, but I'm working out 3 days a week. I'm walking a little bit, and on March 22nd, and this is the reason I wanted to talk about this, I'm actually going to do my first 5K.
It's awesome.
So I did a 3K back in August of last year, and I came in third place.
That's what I was going to say. It was third place, right?
Came in third place for my age group, which just shocked the crap out of me. I didn't expect, I had no anticipation. I was just hoping I could finish the damn thing. So for 18 months to go from not walking 100 feet to doing a 5K, I'm pretty happy about that. So the 5K is, and there's a link on my blog, but I'll also put the link right here as well, that you can go to sponsor either me or join my team. If you're close to Nashville, Tennessee, or happen to want to go to Nashville on Saturday, March 22nd, the name of the team is I Need a Break.
Because who's it
It's
for?
the National Eating Disorders Association, NEDA. So it's I Need a Break. Thought that was cute.
It is cute, but
like
it also just makes
funny.
me think of Kit Kat bars.
Right.
Give me a break. Yeah, nah, nah, nah. I love to eat chocolate because I'm a fat kid.
Yeah. So, but I just wanted to, I didn't really have a specific purpose for this other than to say I just wanted to talk about it for a minute. I haven't talked about it on here. I do talk about it, obviously, about every other week or so. I write a post on the other site, and sometimes they're video posts. I do video blogs there as well. Not every time.
No, that's actually how this whole
That's kind of how this
came about.
That is a little bit how it started.
You were doing the video blogs for the your blog period,
right?
And then we just sat
we
down.
Should totally do this.
We should do this.
Yeah. So.
And Steven's not the only one who came. You got a hell of a journey,
Right.
a lot more than where I came from. I was a fat kid. You can go and check out my Facebook. It's facebook.com/redjeans542, I want to say.
Yeah.
And you can go back and look at the pictures of me. All of them are public.
Yeah.
And I was huge. I think I topped out at 310.
Yeah.
And
which is about where I'm at now.
Yeah,
I'm 307 right now.
And I just decided, I was like, I've got high blood pressure. I'm at risk for diabetes.
Oh yeah, I was diabetic. So I was diabetic. I am no longer. The surgery actually kind of cures diabetes.
That's what I was gonna say. There's another thing for you.
Yep.
I decided to get healthy, and I dropped a lot of weight.
Yep.
I dropped down to 180 something, then bounced back up to 227 over a course of 2 years.
Right.
And then now I think I just got back into the gym after sicknesses, hurting
Breaking
myself,
your foot.
and then sickness again. Yeah. And I just getting back in. I think right now I weigh like 167.
Yeah.
So, but I'm.
Yeah. Now I'll never be that small. I'll never be that small. Well, no. First of all, I'm taller than you. I'm bigger than you. I'm framed larger than you.
That doesn't mean anything.
So, but I don't have a number. And at the end of the day, I don't actually have a number. I'm assuming.
Do you just want to be under 200?
No, I'm assuming that, honestly, my weight's going to end up somewhere between 210 and 230.
Hey.
That's where I'm assuming it's going to be.
If that makes you happy, though, that's what it's all about.
And that's what I was going to say. That's why I don't actually have a number. I want to feel healthy. You got to think about it. So I'm a loose 46. Actually, with all the extra skin, I'm actually about a 42.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of... I'm going to have surgery at some point to take care of that.
Removed.
But, if you think about that, I'm 307 pounds, and I'm already down to a 46.
Impressive.
A loose 46. I'm a 44 or a 42 without all the skin. So, I lose another 4 inches off my waist. I'll be in the upper 30s, and that's probably so that'll be in the high 200s. I'll be at a 38. So,
well, I'll say this, and I kind of want to talk to everybody out there about it. Everybody gets really discouraged about dieting and working out.
Oh,
and
sure,
things like that.
absolutely.
I ate a candy bar for breakfast this morning.
He did.
I am not a responsible person. If I can do this, anyone can do this.
Yeah.
Now, you do. Dieting sucks.
And sometimes you need a little bit more help. Sometimes you do. In my case, diet and exercise weren't an option for me.
Yeah.
I was functional on 90 milligrams of morphine a day because of all the pain. I haven't taken a painkiller in like 8 months now. He was
essentially housed for computers.
Yeah, pretty much.
It really,
So even had a cane actually for a long time.
I know.
So still have the cane, just don't use it,
Don't use it,
obviously.
don't have
But
to. He carries around sometimes to hit kids.
and I didn't take Vicodin, but I did. I did take morphine. So
It's all painkillers. It's all opiates. I mean, that's,
yeah.
But I guess, I mean, make sure to check out Steven's, first off, check out his blog.
Yep.
Check out the Nita 5K run.
Absolutely.
Feel free to join his team. I actually might join the team as well.
Better.
Feel free to donate. But really, just, I mean, as a general message, just remember this.
We're nerds. We tend to stay inside. We tend to eat candy and play on computers. And I think about that South Park episode with the World of Warcraft episode.
I know people that are that person.
Right. And I was that person. And that is why I wanted to talk about it, I guess, at the end of the day. Because I know this isn't very techie or very geeky, but,
fitness is part of life.
The stuff I get to do now as a result. I mean, I'm doing this podcast because I've been losing weight and I can do that. I just started a group on Facebook today for dinner parties with all our friends. I can do that now. I went to Dragon Con last year and walked around I lost my car for 3 days. Because,
you got was it stolen or was
no,
it
I literally lost the car, and it's because I walked more than I thought I could. Because I parked 2 miles away from where I thought I parked. It was literally 2 more miles. Like, I just not realizing I had parked that far away, I couldn't find the car. I wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago. You know?
But what I was going to say, I guess my final message of everything about this is that never get discouraged. Everybody has to start somewhere. Right. Everything works different for everybody. As long as you're moving, you're still better than somebody else who's just lumping out on a couch somewhere.
And if you do have a good weight loss story, I'm interested. Let me know.
Call us.
Yeah, call us. Shoot me an email. Something. We'll share your story.
I believe our number is 480-STUPID-9.
Wow. I still remember it. Wow, that's awesome.
So
we just finished each other's sandwiches.
I know we did. That's what I was gonna say. Somebody should tell him. But the point being, call us, leave us a voicemail, send us a motivational video that maybe helped you, or
absolutely,
let us know. We'll put you on the show.
Yeah, and because when you get out more, I'm gonna go cosplay Dragon Con this year. I wouldn't have been able to do that before. So
I'm getting tattoos that I would have never been able to get earlier because of just how gross under my arm area.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like mine are. I'm lucky. Mine have stayed relatively through the expanse and retraction. They've stayed relatively normal.
He just wanted to show off his guns.
Yeah. So this is the skin thing I was talking about. Check that out.
It happened to me.
So yeah, that's nothing, by the way. We won't bore you with. I discussed you. I think is really the better.
Well, either way, congratulations to you.
Man.
Make sure to check out all his stuff. Thank you. But I don't consider my journey nearly as big of a thing.
I think it is.
Well, every journey is a journey, and it's your journey.
Yeah.
You can't start a journey if you don't get off the fucking couch.
Get off the couch.
Can't. Get off the couch! Hey guys, we wanted to go ahead and establish a new segment with you this week, and we're going to start by calling the name out. It's going to be Pop to Culture.
And really, we've kind of already done this. We've had different little mini segments that this is all going to fall under. So yeah,
we just decided to actually give it a name and stop being lazy. So this segment, we're going to talk about movies, television, general nerdosity kind of a thing like that. Anything that's really going on in pop culture. Right now,
nerd pop culture.
Especially right now. One of the things that I do want to
because I don't give two shits about Justin Bieber and his DUI.
Disney bought Star Wars. Okay, they bought Lucas.
No.
And you know they bought Marvel too, right?
I know.
And that didn't work out so bad.
Did you see the Marvel versus Star Wars Twitter thing yesterday? Oh my god, that was awesome.
It was pretty epic.
It was.
Now with this, Disney has said they're gonna let Pixar make a Star Wars movie. Are you excited about this? How do you feel about this?
I'm mixed emotions, and here's why. I'm excited because I love Pixar movies. Like WALL-E is probably, of recent times, one of my most favorite Pixar flicks. There are a few that have been hit and miss, but for the most part, Up, for example, for me was a hit and miss movie.
Really?
There were parts of Up that I could have just done without. The dog, however, saved the movie for me. I love that damn dog. Squirrel.
We're not friends anymore.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So, everybody's a little different. I mean, even bromates like us don't always get along with our movie choices, and that's fine. I still think you're a dick, but whatever. But no. So I'm happy about it in that sense. I'm anxious because I'm just anxious about movies that are I'm so fandomly tied to. You know what I mean? Like they're hooked into the cockles of my heart, and every time they get remade or rebooted or redone, I get nervous.
But I think for me, I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried because I trust Pixar with any one of my fandoms, any character period, at all. I would trust them to do Doctor Who, and that's a big deal. I would. And the reason is Pixar is always on point. They keep people happy. They don't go crazy with it.
That's true. That's true.
And they're great storytellers. Yeah. Even if they took something that was already in existence.
Wall-E was a great story.
Well, if they took something that was there, like one of the comic adaptions or a book, there's so much Star Wars history there that we've just never discussed unless you're like hardcore nerd level.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like 30 books on the Clone Wars alone. So.
And those cartoons were actually really good. Genndy Tartakovsky, I want to say, did that.
I did like those.
They were pretty good. Yeah. I can't complain. So if I trust him, who he did, Dexter's and Powerpuff Girls and all that stuff,
right?
Which that new Powerpuff Girls cartoon is an abhorrent and terrible
I never watched the old one.
I would rather burn both of my eyes out than watch it.
I never got into Powerpuff Girls.
So I trust Pixar. And I trust Disney to know what they're doing.
Well, you're super excited about it. I mean, that's obvious. If you guys didn't figure it out, he's super excited. He's like super excited.
I'm super serial, you guys.
But I no matter what, I will see it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have my money. It's just shut up and take it. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. So, speaking of movies.
All right.
You know what I'm about to talk about,
Go
right?
ahead. Go ahead.
So, earlier on a segment.
Personal opinion.
Earlier on a segment, 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure now, you actually had a sorry because you were apologizing for hijacking a thread. Mm-hmm. Well, so I went to see I, Frankenstein last night. Opening night, 9:30, IMAX 3D at the Pinnacle Regal here in Knoxville. Like, it's a good theater. It's, I enjoy that one. Not the best IMAX theater I've been to, but it's a good one. And 2 people showed up. Which was one more than I thought. Actually, Chris showed up last night, and he told me he was going to come yesterday afternoon. I was like, well, good, because it was only me and one other person. So, it was just going to be me and Whitney, which was fine too.
You say names. You got me
I didn't say last names.
Right.
I said no last names.
All right.
So it was just 2 of us, and then Chris showed up. So at least there was more than one person, more than one other person. It was a great movie.
Well. That's personal opinion.
So Rotten Tomatoes has given it a 0.
Oh, no. 6%.
I call that a 0.
Might as well be.
I call it a 0.
Even if you look at the audience, 57% liked that movie.
I know. So here's the thing. I think a lot of people prejudged the movie and therefore immediately didn't like it regardless. I also think that a lot of people who have judged it and gave it 0s and 6% haven't seen the movie. They're people like you. And I know you wouldn't vote on a movie I'd actually seen.
I would never do that.
But my point is, people with your opinion about the movie are voting in that manner.
IMDb. Then we'll skip away from it.
Right.
5.6.
5.6. Out of 10, right? That's their scale?
Out of 10.
I know it's terrible. So here's why I liked it. Was it the greatest movie of 2014? No. Was it the greatest movie of January 2014? Probably not.
No, even though we do have January blues. And that's just a movie term because nothing comes out in January at all.
I mean, and it was, but here's the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and start out with the things I didn't actually like. I'll be fair. There were some things I didn't like. There were a lot of 3D for the sake of 3D in the movie.
Oh, did you see it in 3D?
Yeah.
I rarely see stuff in 3D.
The movies like that are shot 3D for the reasons I tend to see.
It has to be real 3D for me.
Well, so I know you don't like CGI, but you're all...
Well, when I say that, I mean if it's not shot on
no.
camera.
It was shot on a 3D camera. No. Yeah, it was shot on a 3D camera. That's not the issue. The problem is there were some scenes that were obviously 3D for the sake of 3D, and that does bother me in general for any movie, even the few scenes in Avatar that did that. And Avatar is kind of my staple for 3D movies because it's
not real 3D.
It is fake 3D.
It's fake 3D.
Oh,
it's post-production 3D.
That must be why.
That's why you didn't enjoy
that
it.
was probably why. Okay, that makes sense. I thought it was real 3D. I appreciate you looking that up. So that's my only real 3D issue was that. Now off of that for a minute.
Okay.
Here are the things that I did like a lot, actually. The queen of the gargoyles in the movie gave him a name, which I thought was kind of cool. That humanized Frankenstein's monster quite a bit. He ended up taking the name Frankenstein, which is kind of neat. But what I liked about it mostly, and I'm going to spoil parts of the movies for anybody's going to see it, so you can mute if you need to.
Spoiler alert.
So Bill Nye plays Nibirius, the prince of the demons, essentially, and that the big showdown at the end of the movie.
Every time you say this,
Yeah.
and you're not pronouncing it wrong or anything.
Yeah.
But because of where I grew up, the time
Yeah.
I grew up, you say his name, and I assume that there's a scientist man in this movie.
Right.
I assume Bill Nye, the science guy.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he's talking about Bill Nighy.
Right.
But yeah,
but it's pronounced Nye.
it is.
So it's Bill Nye the vampire guy
Yeah.
is in this movie because he plays a lot of vampire movies. I'm just saying.
He does.
So Bill Nye is the Prince of Demons, Prince Nibirius, and Gideon is kind of one of the patriarchs of the guardian of the goblins. They're the guardians of the human race. There's a showdown between he and Mr. Frankenstein's monster that is pretty good. If you like action and violent action in a movie, it's actually got a lot of that too. There's a lot of really good fight scenes.
I just don't like action for
a
the
lot
sake of action.
No, it's not just for the sake of action though. There's actually some good cinematic,
Which I say that, but I'll
sequences.
go to see every Fast and the Furious movie there is made.
which
period.
is
I don't
driving
care.
fast for the sake of driving fast.
Don't care.
Which I'm actually happy to hear that they are going to finish that
it.
movie.
Yeah, and they're
So-
retiring his character, not
Yeah.
killing him off.
Right. So,
So-
I think that's I think that's
Classy
going to
on
be
you
cool.
guys.
Yeah, very good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the film.
So-
I will probably see it when it hits DVD.
I'm sure
but-
you'll hit it. I'm sure you'll Redbox it or something, and we'll talk
Absolutely.
about it when you Redbox it, because
When I Redbox it.
I think you'll like it. I actually do think you'll like it. I don't think you'll love it. I'm not going to say that. I do think you'll like it.
Well, we'll see what happens. So we were talking about Community a couple weeks ago.
Oh, my emotions.
I'm in a glass case of emotion. I caught up on Community last week, and then this week,
Troy and I bet in a bubble.
Troy, I've been in a bubble. Yeah, it was great, and it was so horrible sad at the end.
I know.
If you guys don't know, Troy, the character Troy,
Right.
played by Childish Gambino, a.k.a. why is his name leaving my head at the moment?
Probably because it just came out with that album, and it because of the internet.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, Donnie Glover have you seen his album? I haven't listened to it yet.
The new
Because
one.
of the
I
internet?
haven't listened to the new
Because of
album.
the internet, right? Is that what it's
I'm not a huge... Anything before camp is awesome. Anything after camp,
Right.
I could...
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
But he's gone. Dong Lover.
I know, it sucks.
Dong Lover is gone.
Dong Lover.
And if you've ever checked out his Twitter handle, it's
Dong-
Don Glover.
Yeah.
So it's Dong Lover.
it is Dong Lover. That's
And it was
true.
I was like legitimately
know.
feels upset.
And I think the way Abed handled it was like that was my best connection to Abed
Oh,
I've
yeah.
ever had in that
absolutely.
show ever.
And I actually do, even though I'm a very social person, I do feel very connected to Abed
Oh,
as
totally.
a character, especially Abed and Troy. It's like both parts of my personality.
I know. I mean, so Pierce is gone, obviously, because
Absolutely.
Chevy didn't come back to the show.
I always wanted to eat a ghost.
And I was okay with that. That didn't bother me. I mean, I like Chevy Chase.
I do too.
I mean, he's
but he's a dick. Like, there's no question that he's a
it's
dick.
totally dick. So I was fine with him gone, but I'm really just I have the feels with Troy being gone.
I guess my thing about it wasn't just the Troy for
But
this
LeVar
season.
Burton came back for the
LeVar
show.
Burton did come back.
That was cool.
Dan Harmon.
So why don't they call it Planet Trek? Because you don't ever go to Stars.
Star. But the thing is, the series creator Dan Harmon is back this season,
And it shows. It so shows
In-
the reboot or the repilot,
repilot.
which was the first episode,
Well, the
amazing,
last
and the
episode
second
that just
episode right
passed.
after that was even more amazing, and then the last episode for last week was even more amazing.
It was absolutely classic Dan Harmon, and you don't really
Yeah.
think about it, and you just watch Community, and going back to watch the season that he was not involved in.
It's obvious. It is so
It's
obvious
super obvious that they were trying to
beat Dan Harmon.
Yeah,
and
It was just not working.
Because that was the Pillow Fort one, wasn't it? Wasn't that in his seat? That was
I
like,
don't remember. I'd have to look it up, but I enjoyed the Pillow Fort episode.
but that was like the only good episode in that.
That it was
from that
well,
time frame,
every
right?
season they do a ridiculous thing that you would normally.
Right.
For example,
And
last
this year
night's
it was
episode,
Hot Lava.
Hot Lava. Everybody played that game.
Growing up,
Everybody did.
sure you did. Can't touch the floor. If you touch the floor, you die.
And that's the Dan Harmon thing about it.
Yeah.
Is that he takes that one thing and he's like, well, what would happen if we did this in college?
And
they
it just
goes
nailed it.
nuts,
Oh my God,
and it was
they
perfect.
nailed it.
But I was very sad. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to have Dan Harmon back on that
Right,
show.
and that's the problem. Like, I have all these happies, and now
and
I
then
have
I'm
all these
just depressed
sads. I know.
and Troy's not going to come back.
I know.
And they
And
kind
even
of
if he
tell you,
does,
they're like, oh, he'll be
co-
back in a year.
Right, and he might
It'll
come
be a
back in a
guest
year.
spot.
Right, that's what I was going to say the same thing. He'll be back for a guest spot.
Yeah.
But he'll be back with his millions of dollars of inheritance. He's not going to stay in Community at that point.
No.
So he's done. And as an actor, he's got things he wants to do.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason he's leaving. He's got his own show.
As a musician, he's got stuff he wants to do because I know he's got to promote that album.
Absolutely.
So.
But anyways,
and good luck, Dong Lover. We love you.
We do. We love Dong Lover.
We totally love Dong Lover. So
what was that? Didn't you have something else that you wanted to discuss about TV, especially considering of episodes that you won't get to watch?
Yeah. So, fuck you, Winter Olympics. I'm just saying. And for those of you like curling and ski sleds and stuff, I enjoy all those things. I like watching bobsledding. I do like watching curling.
Sometimes I want to watch figure skating with pants off. There's nothing weird about that.
Hey, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
I'm not making it weird. People who walk in make it weird.
But the problem is, for me, so last night, Grimm was on. I watched it this morning. I never tend to watch it live. It was really good. It was to be continued, of course, because they're assholes. And Grimm returns on February 27th.
What?
So that's like 4 shows this week that all are done until after the Winter Olympics.
And I was making a joke because my favorite show that's currently running is on the CW, and I was like, Winter Olympics don't affect me at all.
And what did I say? I said, no, well, some of the shows I watch aren't on Winter Olympics channels. They don't care. They're afraid of rating losses.
So I went to look it up.
Yours isn't as bad.
It's not as bad. I get 2 more episodes, and then there's a 21-day break.
Yeah.
That's huge, though. That's 3 weeks. We just came back from the winter breaks.
Well, here's where it gets worse. What happens in March?
Sweeps?
March Madness.
Oh, yeah. Well, most of my shows will be done by then. Because March Madness starts on the 18th. That's the slum. Because any 13...
But not all the shows that you watch, and definitely not all the shows that I watch. I watch a lot of... I watch too much TV. I'll admit that.
I love TV.
Here's the problem. So you had the winter break. That busted your balls. You come back for 2 weeks, and then you take 4 weeks off for the goddamn Winter Olympics. You come back for a week and a half, and you're off for March Madness.
March Madness is really long too. Like
it's ridiculous.
It's kind of, and the thing is, even though March Madness is really only lasting its set period of time, it feels 1,000 times.
It feels
longer.
like it's.
And I hate college basketball. I do.
Yeah.
In fact, I hate basketball. Sue me, send me hate mail, whatever you want to do. I hate
Red Jeans at thatstupidpodcast.com.
I've not gotten hate mail yet. I'm waiting. I'm going to say something that's going to piss somebody off out there.
Maybe we're filtering it. I should check the filter.
Either way, March Madness is dumb. College basketball is dumb. Most basketball
and here's
is dumb.
my
Stop
problem.
taking my shows away.
That's my problem. Like, I'm okay if you look. I'm not anti-sports.
No,
but it's 2014.
Put it on its own channel.
Well, no, you don't even have to do that for me. You really don't. Give it to me on demand. Let me DVR it at 3:35 in the morning. I don't give a shit because I don't watch it live anyway.
But they'll never do that.
And let me keep my damn shows.
They'll never do that.
I know, bastards.
Especially one that has just come back that I haven't watched yet. King of the Nerds just started back up on their second season.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is a big nerd thing. A lot of people are cut in half. Either you love this show,
or you absolutely hate it,
or you want it.
And you probably hate it because of what's her face from last year.
I love the show, but I hate Trade Chat.
I
hate Trade Chat.
I couldn't remember her name
with her stupid pink hair, and she's so whiny.
Yeah.
God, and
I didn't have the Trade Chat problem a lot of people did, but I knew you did. So
I almost auditioned for the second season, and it just kind of got away from me for the time and everything. Yeah. But now that I'm actually in better shape, I'm healthier with myself.
Right.
I'm gonna audition for season 3. So you may lose me as a podcast host if I get on there, at least for as long as I'm on that show.
We won't miss you.
No, one won't miss me. We'll get a fucking. I'll come back. He's like, oh well, we got this new guy. Now you're fired. So
he's way better. No, it's all good. So, yeah, it's just a lot of emotions, a lot of feels this week.
It's not going to get any better, especially considering
it's really not.
We've got a huge wait until the
only thing that's good, and I have to wait till August for Doctor Who. I mean, Lost Girl's back, so I'm happy about that. I don't think Sci-Fi is going to stop it for the Winter Olympics that I've noticed, so I at least get to watch that. Helix, that's a new Sci-Fi show I've been watching, so I'll be able to sustain some of my nerd TV with that stuff, but.
Well, guys, that's pop culture for this week. Hopefully you like the segment. We're going to do it again.
Absolutely.
Even if you hate the segment, we're going to do it again.
And if you have ideas for things you'd like us in nerd pop culture you'd like to talk about, shoot it over.
Shoot an email. What's the
show at thatstupidpodcast.com or give us a call at 480-STUPID-9. There you go.
Sandwich finishing.
Turkey sandwich.
So, guys, we've got another new segment for you this week. This is like week of segments. Actually, we should call the podcast this week segmentation. Or, I don't know. We'll figure that one out. But
yeah, I don't think we're going to call it that.
The new segment is called Game Changer. And I love video games. Yeah, it really, I mean, I love video games. I love video games.
I like video games, too.
I probably spend way too much of my day reading different blogs like Reddit, Kotaku, Gizmodo, IO9, Ars Technica.
Yep.
And it's just general nerd news. Everybody is talking that Nintendo is coming out with a new console called Nintendo Fusion.
Is it Nintendo Cold Fusion?
It'll be a 2-part console. Part of it will work with the Wii handheld, or the Wii U handheld.
The Wii U, all right.
And part of it will work with the DS. It's really weird, and there's been prototype mock-ups, but what people don't know is the pictures and the prototype mock-ups that you're seeing aren't prototype mock-ups of a new console. They're actually old pictures of the Wii U before it went into manufacturing, production, etc. They're mock-ups of them making an old console. Not to mention, Nintendo's posted a loss for the year, the quarter, and their stock has dropped. Now, don't get me wrong, Nintendo's got plenty of money just hanging out. They got Nintendo money. That's where the term came from. They could just sit and do nothing for probably a good couple of years and be fine. But they're not going to release a new console. That's just...
it's stupid, for one thing. It would be a really bad idea.
It'd be a bad idea. It's the hardware and manufacturing
almost as bad as the Wii U itself was, as far as I'm concerned.
It's a good console.
It's really not.
He does not agree with me. I think it's great. Well...
Do you own a Wii U?
Do I own one?
Yeah.
No.
Then shut up.
I own a DS and I own a Wii. I would own a Wii U if it wasn't so expensive. If they would drop the price like $50, I would buy a Wii U.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, I don't own an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 either.
Oh.
So what's that say about the next generation of consoles?
I'm going to say that's different for a reason. Because
really
they're way priced higher. They're not $50 out of your budget.
Well, I mean, they're not out of... None of it's out of my budget. It's really just like, do I have time? Are there games available? Yeah. I really do want a Wii U.
Really?
And if I was going to buy a next-gen console right now, like as of tomorrow...
It will be a Wii U.
It would be a Wii U, yeah.
You heard it here.
They have way better games than everybody else right now. And they have a huge back library. Now, so everybody plays Candy Crush. Everybody plays Candy Crush.
No, everybody does not play Candy Crush.
Everybody plays Candy Crush.
Do I play Candy Crush?
You did play Candy Crush.
Notice,
everybody has played Candy Crush.
Would you like to hear him? Did. And I actually know people who have never played Candy Crush.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are, but I would say that 99% of people out there
There's someone off camera I'm going to acknowledge for just a minute raising her hands vigorously who has never played Candy Crush.
Well, there's 2 people now.
There are three people in the room
Point
vigorously raising their hands. And in fact, there are 3 people off camera. There are 2 people on camera. Have you played Candy Crush?
See?
So it's half and half in this room. That is not everybody or nearly everybody. That is 50% of this particular population.
Because we have a research size of 6, right? That's what a good number that is. We'll never have outliers there.
I think we're a pretty random sampling. We have 3 men, we have 3 women in this room, right?
I don't think 6 is a big enough sample size to deduce that
we're all nerds.
Especially with how big of a deal that is, but we're different kind of nerds. And it's not even a nerd thing. It's a casual game.
No, it is. It's horrible.
It is.
I hate that goddamn game.
I don't play Candy Crush anymore. At all. I've never purchased it life on Candy Crush. I've never spent money on Candy Crush.
Oh, yeah, I didn't either.
It drives me nuts that they're suing...
Facebook.
King is suing Banner Saga. Do you know why they're suing them?
I have not heard this story at all.
Over the word saga.
Oh, my God.
They have claimed a trademark on the word saga.
So when does Twilight come in and sue someone?
Again,
that's a saga, right? I'm remembering that correctly.
But there are plenty of other video games that have been released forever.
What about, I don't know, the Star Wars saga?
The biggest thing that I have an issue with is that neither one of those games are anything at all. Now, Penny Arcade posted a fantastic comic up. And it's great. It's concerning this issue. It's just a panel, and he says, I think there should be hard limits on what is and what is not considered a saga. If you make a game where men and giants trudge through a frozen wilderness in a world without
sounds pretty saga-like to me.
You know, I'm going to call that a saga.
Yeah.
The candy thing with what they already stole from another game.
Exactly.
That is not really a saga. It is more of a sad journey that you're going through alone.
More like Chutes and Ladders with Jolly Ranchers.
It is. And I mean, it's completely stupid. I think that they're going to lose. But King has way more money than this independent developer that makes Banner Saga.
Right.
And they're going to push lawyers on them.
Right.
That's all
That's the way it works. Well, that's the way it works.
They'll never change the name of the game. Ever. I don't think it'll happen.
Right.
But it's King pushing their muscle around because other games are getting more popular than theirs is.
You know, when you said King and you're talking about Candy Crush, King Candy jumped to my head, and I started thinking about Wreck-It Ralph.
It's the Zynga theory.
Yeah.
Zynga was huge.
Yeah.
And now that they are just a sad heap of stuff nobody wants to play anymore.
Yep.
It's bad.
They really are, too.
King is the new Zynga.
Yeah, that's true.
So you wanted to talk about something that also happened.
Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot going on this week. And we're talking about Nintendo to start the segment. Well, Microsoft dropped a record fourth quarter, $24.52 billion in revenue.
Think about that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they shipped like 3.9 million Xbox Ones in the fourth quarter, beating the living crap out of the PlayStation 4.
They destroyed Sony by almost 2 million.
Yeah,
I think
more than double.
Yeah,
more than double the units.
And both of them were saying that they were going to have issues stocking, but you can go to a store right now
and buy either one of them. Not even
a month later.
Well, and they say that. So even if that's not true, companies always say that because that immediately inspires demand.
Yeah.
Just that all, you
People
know.
are like, oh, I got to get one now.
It's a marketing ploy. But I mean, you know, so I was surprised, however, that Microsoft quarter, that's their biggest quarter ever. I mean, it's, when I say record breaking, I mean, it's
not like they just were like, oh yeah, we made like 50 extra bucks.
It's the GDP of like half the world, basically. I mean, it's just a ton of money.
America.
And it's all sitting on top of the Xbox One. It really is. I mean,
their entertainment division's huge. And that's what Bill Gates wanted it to be when he launched that brand back. Oh, wow.
I'm kind of waiting. And I'm kind of waiting for them to.
Oh, split?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen. Xbox is going to become its own company, its own everything.
It kind of needs to. I mean, Microsoft's done a very good job, in my opinion, of letting them do their own thing and be their own thing.
I mean, they are their own entity. But
it's still, there are limits that are inside of Microsoft that are, I think, not letting them go as far as they can go.
All right, well, let's talk about this. We talked about next-gen consoles. We talked about Microsoft. We talked about Nintendo. We haven't talked about Valve.
Oh, the Steam box is coming.
I want to talk about the Steam box, the Steam machine, whatever they want to call it.
Right.
Now, I'm going to be honest
They're going to suck balls when they come out.
They're going to be terrible.
Horrible. They're going to be overpriced. They're going to run like crap. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I love it when everybody's like, DRM is stupid. And I'm like, do you guys know that you love Steam so much? Steam is DRM, and they're like...
Steam is 100% DRM.
And maybe people don't remember that I remember when Steam was first released.
Right.
And it was crap. It was absolutely
horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, I've had a Steam account for years. I've spent... No, I'm not going to admit that out loud.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And I found out because there's this website where you can like calculate how much money you spend. It looks at your profile. And
he likes to cry a lot, by the way. That's why he does these things to himself. Just needs a good cry sometimes.
Butt hurt the amount of money I've spent on Steam games.
Well, I love Steam. And the biggest thing is, how many of those games have you finished?
Hardly.
Yeah, exactly. And every time a Steam sale comes by, you're like, I'm just going to spend all this money and never, ever play any of these games.
Well, when I can buy 100 games at $1 a piece,
You do it.
Yeah.
That's, I mean... Can't go wrong.
So there's games that I go by that I used to play. Like I went and rebought all the original Quake games that I used to play back in the 90s because you can play them again inside of Steam because of the way they wrap the game, which is excellent.
It is fantastic.
The old Unreal Tournament games like UTK 2003 was my favorite Unreal Tournament game.
And you don't have to be running Windows 98 to play these things.
Yeah. I mean, I can run that on my Windows 8.
Yeah, you can run
box.
it. Yeah, you can probably run it on a tablet. To be honest with you, I mean, just think about the technology.
So I go back and I buy those games, but then I get like Super Meat Boy and these games that I would have never played if it weren't for the Steam sales. Now sometimes they falter. There's a few games I bought that were just terrible. I won't name them because I don't want to be too mean right now. But then there's games like Super Meat Boy that's just
super addicting.
It really is. It's a game that had it not been $1.24, I think is what I would have never bought it. Never in a million years.
I got a Humble Bundle purchase, and they let you set your own price.
Right.
So I always pay just enough over the unlock, whatever the extra games are. And now I will say this about the Steam boxes, because that's where I want to get back to.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
They're going to be terrible.
They're going to be terrible.
They're going to be overpriced.
Terrible. Just terrible.
And here's the thing. Alienware admitted, which is a bad marketing for them. And if you've ever used Alienware anything...
Don't buy Alienware crap, people.
For the most part, by the time you've gotten it,
It's out of
It'll
date.
last 8 months, and
out
then
of
it's out of
date.
date.
It's out
and
of
you
date
paid
already.
like $4K for it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So they want a lot of money for their Steam boxes.
Right.
The big thing about Steam boxes for me is that they're PCs. And the biggest thing for me about Steam boxes is that they're tiny, they're cramped in
Right,
there.
but they have to be tiny because
know.
they're competing with
Consoles.
Rokus and I mean, even the Roku I know is not a gaming device. They do have
not.
some games on there though, but they're competing with that size device because the Xbox One, I'm sorry, I like Microsoft, but it's ginormous.
It is, well, I like that about
So,
it. I really do like that because I do. I like it.
all right.
But the thing about the Steam boxes is...
It can't be a clunky PC.
Well, Alienware has said, yes, you can upgrade stuff if you can fit it in the box.
Right,
And
right.
here's what I'm going with this.
Well, they're using the
They're-
mini ITX boards, right?
Well, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And they're going to start selling PC parts for the Steam machine. I guarantee you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Everyone will make a line specifically for those.
Yeah, right.
And it will be specific for like generic model.
And
like,
I think-
it'll be your line of
Right.
because they're going to all be mostly the same boards, the same size, stuff like that. Overheating is going to be a factor.
Oh, sure it is.
Like everybody's telling me, oh no, it won't. Yeah, it will.
Yeah, it
the Xbox
absolutely
crammed
will.
all that original technology. I'm sorry, the 360 and the Xbox
The red
both
ring of death,
were
anyone?
just PCs crammed into a box.
Well, they still are. The Xbox One's nothing but a PC crammed into a box. The PlayStation is just a PC crammed into a box.
And-
the only difference is it's more proprietary and not upgradable.
And the Steam machines are a great idea.
Oh,
They're
I think
super
great.
awesome, but they're going to be garbage.
They're
when
going to
they
be
come
garbage.
out.
So here's
And
my
people are still
suggestion.
gonna buy it.
And my suggestion is don't. I suggest
Build
you go
a
to
PC in a
Steam,
box
go to
and
Steam's website because they're gonna have
You can already
guidelines.
download the OS.
Right. But they have guidelines on what hardware you should
Mm-hmm.
look into and go put a shuttle XPC together and use that as your Steam box.
You can do that, or just build a computer and sit
Well, I
it
like
next to
the
your...
nice thing about a shuttles is it's at least a small enough form factor, but still easily upgradable. It doesn't have the heat problems.
Yeah.
I love those shoebox PCs. I mean, you saw my master closet today. He about shit
A
himself.
lot of them. Well, I mean,
know.
like I used to own an icebox. Remember those? The old
Yeah.
plexiglass,
Yep.
and they
I
the
totally
blue
do.
lights and everything.
Right.
And I loved that thing.
Yeah.
And it was running some serious hardware. I would play anything, any game, and it never overheated.
I mean,
I carry it anyway.
I've got the biggest one I have downstairs is it's a 3rd gen Core i7, 64 gigs of RAM, and it's all crammed in
and it's
this
shoved in that
build.
box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. You can sit it right there in front of your TV.
Right.
It's not gonna be that
Absolutely.
big of a deal.
Or slimline PCs. I mean, they make slim desktops that would be about the size of an Xbox, basically.
They do.
Yeah. So
So looking at these things, and I know that people are still going to go out there and they're still going to buy the crap out of Steam machines, Steam boxes. There's no question in my mind about that. But are they going to suck when they come out?
Expect them
they're
to
gonna
suck.
They're
Yeah,
going to be
absolutely.
terrible.
They're
And
gonna
that
be terrible.
controller, I don't care what anybody says.
well, and they've already changed it 3 times. So like,
It's just I would rather I know that I'll get my butt kicked online.
I use an Xbox controller.
I do too, and everybody thinks like, oh well, people with mice will stomp you, and I'm like, they don't really stomp a
Now,
mud
some games I do use a mouse and keyboard on, but like there are a lot of games. I played Defiance on the PC.
on my PC with my
Right,
Xbox controller.
with my Xbox controller.
It was great.
It was perfect for that because that game is actually written for a console, so it lends itself
I don't even
very
think
well.
I don't even think they did their console.
Yeah, there's a
Did they?
absolutely you can buy it for PlayStation, you can buy it for Xbox, or you can pay only $10 and buy it for PC.
Or you can just not buy it because that show and that whole MMO is going to just tank in the next like year anyway.
I know, and I love
a great
Defiant. I'm
idea.
so sad about that, but I know that you're probably right.
I know I'm right, and I knew I was right when I played it. And I was like, "This is a really fun game."
I know.
This sucks.
I know.
So, that's game changer for this week.
Yeah.
We'll have more stuff, more information, more gaming news coming up for you, and probably some horrible opinions from both of us.
Horrible opinions.
Terribly.
He's an idiot.
I hate you. You're dumb. You dumb as hell.
So, Ashton, there's a few stories that came out this week that had kind of piqued my little interest in the whole tech bytes world.
Bring them to me. Give me your stories.
The first one is earlier this week, Gmail went down. Were you aware of that?
But it only went down for like 5 minutes, and it didn't
the
affect
world
me
exploded.
at all.
The world exploded. My world exploded. I was
My-
like, my Gmail's not working.
The weirdest thing, everybody said their Gmail didn't work.
Mine didn't.
Mine was still going to my phone. It was still updating automatically right there in my
No.
tab. I don't.
No, mine went down.
But I did. Google did stop working.
Yes.
Trying to
Oh,
do a
Google
search.
Plus. Google Plus went down. Oh my god.
Yeah, because all the 5 people that are using that right now.
But Hotmail was still working, so it was all right.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's not even the big Google story I wanted to talk about.
All right.
But it leads into the big Google story. There was a glitch. There was a Google search glitch. And if you searched for Gmail on Google's website, you got, of course, the Gmail website. And then you know how Google always does those sub-page entries that are always indented?
Oh, those, yeah.
Right? Where it's like, oh, this site also has this and this and this and this. So you'd like sign up, and one of the links was email.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's Gmail.
Except that in the Gmail link was a mail to link. It was a mail to link, not a page, which opened up, of course, your Gmail client, right?
Yeah.
Or your email client in general, with the to field already attached. And it was a guy by the name of David Peck, who had a Hotmail address, who I'm sure has since changed his Hotmail address, as he got bombed with over 10,000 emails a day for the last 4 days this week, since that happened. Oops.
To be fair, that really begs the question of who is still using Hotmail? Who?
So
who out there? What are you doing with your life?
I actually use Windows Live Mail.
I have it too, but it's only because I have to have it.
Right.
I've had it for 15 years.
I don't use it to email that much, I'll admit, but I do still use it.
Oh, I use it to sign up for
right. So and it could be that that's all he was doing, but then all of a sudden his phone exploded. I mean, I don't know how much the guy uses Hotmail, to be fair, but yes. At least he wasn't on Yahoo Mail.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Who is on Yahoo Mail? Our audience is terrible today, and you're bad, and you should feel bad.
People raising hands.
We live, apparently, all of our audience today is archaic fucking... We just have a group of Amish people back there.
I have a friend that's on Yahoo Mail, but they're old and kind of, not very techie, so...
Well, it's not, and I'm not gonna talk trash about mail clients. They all do the same damn thing.
Yeah,
I like Gmail because it's got storage, and I don't delete.
Oh, I don't delete any of my email.
Anything.
Yeah, and neither does the Chris Christie administration. Bazinga! All right, so that was one of the big stories this week. Another one, the Macintosh turned 30 this week.
Now, we should probably specify and tell people that Macintosh is now known as...
Just Mac.
Or Apple.
Right.
I mean...
Well, no. Mac, and here's why. Because the Mac line is a line of PCs and now laptops as well, obviously.
Yes.
So the Mac Pro comes from that same line, obviously. The MacBook Pro that I have. The iMac, that's all true, but that wasn't the only line. In fact, when the Mac launched, the Mac replaced the Lisa.
Yeah, the Lisa computer was the very first one that they had ever made. Then after the Macs launched, they were the first home PC.
Right.
And
the
they
Mac
were super user-friendly.
Right. That was the whole point. The Mac was the first real home PC. Lisa kind of was.
Lisa was. But
right. But it was, it took a while.
Another pro tip, my mom, I guess part of the reason that she loves Apple is because her name is Lisa. And it's around that same time. So she's been a Mac user for... How old am I? I'm 27, so at least 27 years.
You're not even as old as the Mac. See, now I feel old.
But they also had the line of the Apples. I mean, you had the Apple I, the Apple IIs.
Right. Well, the Apple I, the Apple II was really the first set of computers that were big in school. And I mean, if you've ever
play some number munchers,
and if you've ever read the Steve Jobs story, which by the way is a great book. I mean, even if you're not a fanboy, you should totally read that book.
He's totally insane.
And I am looking forward to the newer movie. No, I'm not talking about the Ashton Kutcher movie that came out a few years ago.
You're talking about the real biopic.
The real biopic that they're doing right now, and I forget the director's name, and I feel bad for that, but I'm actually looking really forward to seeing that. But the Mac turned 30 this week. That's a big deal.
That is a really big deal because everybody said when the original Macs came out,
it was a failure.
Especially IBM looked at them and they goes, "You guys will be gone in 2 years."
It was a complete failure.
We're not even worried
Inside
about
of Apple, it was even a complete failure. There were people going against Steve Jobs because essentially,
he got fired.
He did get fired over the Mac essentially because the Mac competed with Lisa, and that pissed people off inside Apple because they didn't want to compete. He wanted to replace Lisa. He didn't want to complete.
Which is what they should have done.
Which is what they should have done. So I mean. That's a big deal in tech, when things get to be that age. And
especially computers or computing companies.
Right.
They are one of the original computing companies. And a handful of the only original ones that are left.
And the funny thing about IBM, Lenovo just bought up their server products this week.
Some ridiculous. There's like 24 billion.
Which I'm okay with because IBM servers are complete shite, and Lenovo's done a very good job of picking up the ThinkPads and
they have turned every one of the Lenovo brand around. If you asked me 3 years ago, I'm thinking about getting a laptop. Would you suggest Lenovo? I'd be like, you should just destroy it. Yeah. You should just throw it on the ground.
But the ThinkPads are great. Lenovo's done a very good job turning those around. So I'm interested to see what they do in the server market. And I think that just leaves IBM now with they're still doing the mainframes because they brought back the AS400.
That's right.
Because people don't get rid of them.
Nope.
But I mean, do they have anything left?
I don't really think they do, product wise, other than the patents that they hold.
And they still own Lotus, right? Don't they still on Lotus?
Yeah, but no, but
that's my point. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm getting at, right? So, anyway, that also happened this week, and Snapchat has been in the news off and on. Hack chat, right. So Snapchat's been in the news, of course, I don't know if you use Snapchat. I've never used Snapchat. I don't have a Snapchat account.
I'm just saying, sometimes you got to send a picture of your dick to somebody, and you don't want them to keep that picture of your dick.
So if we're going to be honest, what Snapchat is for is, honestly, it is sexting.
It's for sending nudie pictures.
It's totally for sending nudie pictures.
Nudie pictures.
And there are...
magazine day.
And if that's what you want to do, look, that's fine. I don't care. I'm just going to tell you, if that's not what you want out there in the world, don't do Snapchat, because there are websites devoted.
Well, I'm totally not taking a picture of my junk right now or anything. I was just going to Snapchat it to you. But
I don't have Snapchat. Sorry, buddy.
So how did the hackers hack Snapchat?
So... Jesus Christ. So the biggest problem with Snapchat is, and there was a big hack that everybody knows about, and that's not even the story we're going to hit too much, because everybody knows about that. Yeah. Back in December, massively got out all the names, got out all their phone numbers that were attached to them. But there's been websites devoted to reposting Snapchat pics for a long time. I mean, if you want to see all the naked girls that have Snapchatted, you can find them on the Googles. Which is why I'm telling you, don't Snapchat. If you don't want it out there, don't Snapchat. If you don't mind it out there, then Snapchat away. I mean,
to be fair, but the way that everybody's looking at it, like everybody was worried about the Xbox One having a camera. Look, if
you
the
do it to
wants
yourself,
to watch me do helicopter dick in my living room,
right?
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If somebody's like
more like a beanie propeller dick, but
maybe if I'm like to be honest with you, if I was to take a picture of my dick and send it out into the world, I assume it's going to end up on the internet, and I have zero fucks to give about that.
And you should assume that, right? And that's all I'm saying with that. But the particular hack this week, so Snapchat's been combating all these problems. One of the biggest Snapchat problems right now are robot accounts.
Okay.
These are fake accounts on Snapchat specifically designed to attract women that
really
want to snap their parts.
I gotta get into programming.
Well, yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know what a robot is, or a bot for sure, bots have been around for a long time, pretty much before even the internet was the internet. Bots are not normal. They're not new. Bots are things that have program responses. That's their job. In instant messaging, you can have bots. We have an internal client messaging software where I work that we actually create our own bots for certain things. I use them for server maintenance. I can ping my bot and ask it for something, and it'll give me an update. I have a bot at my house that uses used to use Windows Messenger. It's Skype now because they merged them. And I can ping my NAS from the internet and ask it how things are doing. It'll tell me how hot it is, how full the drives are, if there's any viruses. Really cool. So bots are great. But bots on Snapchat, again, they're designed to have certain responses, encouraging girls to Snapchat their boobies and their privates. Well, Snapchat's been trying their hardest to cut down on bot accounts. Because bot accounts are also used for advertising purposes. They're not just for looking at boobies.
Advertising boobies, that's what's up. No, anyways.
Well, a hacker in 30 minutes wrote a bot to work around the registration process and has already defeated the new rules that have supposedly stopped that from happening on Snapchat. So my moral of the story is don't use Snapchat.
Can I say one last thing?
Sure.
I actually have developed the biggest hack for Snapchat because they say that it will delete your pictures, right? Well, check it out. If you press the home button and
that actually does not work.
Yes, it does.
No, according to Snapchat, that doesn't work.
I can prove it to you.
I know it does.
It totally does. But that's the biggest hack ever. Go, I want to keep this picture of
you just screen
so-and-so's downstairs mix-up.
Yeah, you just screen snap it. There are actually apps for Android phones that are specifically designed to strip out all the Snapchat stuff. And I mean, it's just... Or you could just take another phone and take a picture of your phone if you're not technically inclined to figure. I mean, it's don't. It's
not hard to figure it out. If you don't want the internet seeing all your stuff and junk,
don't put your stuff and junk out there.
Don't put your stuff and junk out there, and then be upset when you're like, "Oh my god, are those my tits on the internet?"
Yeah, don't send your dick pics to your girlfriend. Don't send your tit pics to your boyfriend, and they won't end up on the internet. Because if you do either one of those, they're both going to end up on the internet.
Oh yeah, and don't think email's safe either.
No, God no. So,
in the long run, stop sending pictures of your dick and your parts.
No
people
parts
over the internet.
No parts at all.
None.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
It was an interesting week, just in general, you think?
We had a lot of tech stuff going on this week.
A lot of tech stuff going on. And even personally, I mean, my week went completely just insane. Work was nuts. I don't know if the planets are misaligned. Mercury's in retrograde. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Mercury when technology screwed up.
But God, it was a bad week.
Ugh.
Apparently not just for us.
No, apparently not. So,
But hey, Mac turned 30, so congrats, guys.
yeah, happy birthday to you. I can't sing the real thing because I'll get sued.
Yeah, that's probably true. Actually, no, if you sing that, YouTube will just rip this down because they'll be like, oh, we picked up a copyrighted song
Yeah.
in here. And we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, that'd be a good segment.
There you
So,
go.
we'll see you next time. Guys, have a great week.
Deuces.
Google story, the Mac story, and the Snapchat story.
Okay.
Kind of in succession. And in 3... Oh, fuck. Do we have a name for the segment?
No, you didn't make one.
Mama don't dance and your daddy don't
I
rock
thought
and
you
roll.
said segmentation.
No, the segment, not the podcast.
We also did.
And I'm not calling it segmentation. That's
Come on, it's not like I said segregation. I mean, that's
No, it's not that. It's
all that we. Who would? And yeah, I'm totally gonna get up in there with you right now. Oh yeah, you're not gonna out-gay chicken me, okay? Like we'll be giving each other handies before one of us stops, okay?